to that one. International Walk to School Day. Whoops. Jeremy's helping me out here. Roll call, please, Deanna.
Councilmember Glauser.
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Johnson.
Here.
Councilmember Stanfield.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Trent.
Here.
Mayor Long.
Here. I was in a hurry. All right, so we have International Walk to School Day proclamation, and I see lots of school people here, so we'll read that one first. Whereas walking is an effective means to improve health and contributes to a safer community, and whereas a lack of physical activity plays a leading role in rising rates of obesity, diabetes, and other health problems among youth, and walking or biking to school offers an opportunity to build physical activity into their daily routine. And whereas driving students to school by private vehicle contributes to traffic congestion and air pollution. And whereas the City of Fortuna has adopted AB 321, the Safer School Zone Act, that is extending school speed zones and slowing the speed of vehicles near schools when children are present. And whereas the City of Fortuna recognizes the need for and value of school crossing guards who will keep our students safe. And whereas the City of Fortuna supports programs dedicated to improving the quality of life for our youth and believes that youth need guidance and encouragement to help develop and continue healthy lifestyles. And whereas the City of Fortuna supports Safe Routes to Schools efforts, including pedestrian education taught to second graders in several schools and to increase safety and coordination for students walking and biking to school. Now therefore be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Fortuna proclaims October 2nd as International Walk to School Day and urges all citizens to consider the health and safety of children, the community, and the environment, and encourages its residents and visitors to walk safely and drivers to always be aware of pedestrians. Signed the 16th day of September. We'll fix that. City of Fortuna, who is receiving this one?
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and City Council members. Thank you for letting us speak about National Walk to School Day. My name is Yesenia Pimentel, and I have the position of Vice President at Toddy Thomas Middle School. Joining me today to speak to you are ASB members from Toddy Thomas and Fortuna Middle School. Shaylee Reef, Treasurer of Fortuna Middle School, will be explaining the history of Walk to School Day. Marcus Ludd, Treasurer from Toddy Thomas, will be talking about the benefits of walking to school. Wilbur Cisneros Catana, publicist of Fortuna Middle School, will be sharing events taking place at FMS. Jayla Cataldi, Secretary, will be talking about Toddy Thomas school events, and Sabrina Aguilar Arc, Vice President of Fortuna Middle School, will be closing our presentation. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Shaylee Reef. I'm going to be speaking about the history of Walk to School Day. Walk to School Day began in 1997 in the United States. This day was organized to build awareness for the need for walkable communities. Walk to School Day was organized by the Partnership for a Walkable America. In 2000, Walk to School Day became international when Canada and the United Kingdom joined the United States for the first international Walk to School Day. Both Fortuna Middle School and Toddy Thomas have been participating in Walk to School Day for many years. We appreciate that the Fortuna City Council encourages our community to walk safely to school and work.
Hi, my name is Marcus Ludd, and I am treasurer at Toddy Thomas, and I'm going to be talking about the benefits of walking to school. To start with, children who walk to school show a higher level of academic performances. Other benefits include being more alert through the school day, having a higher degree of pleasantness, lower stress levels at school, and it teaches them responsibility. In addition, the majority of students ages 5 to 19 aren't getting enough physical activity, so walking to and from school is an easy way to be active. As you can see, walking to school has many great benefits for kids. Thank you for your time.
On Walk to School Day, Fortuna Middle School will be participating by encouraging students who can walk to school safely. To do so, for those who can't, we will walk on our track during the morning recess. All students who can walk or to school or at the on-site event will receive a raffle ticket for an opportunity, drawing, and a healthy snack from a representative from Safe Routes to School. Safe Routes to School's representatives will also provide information to all students and their families about walking safely to school. It is our hope that many students participate because it is good for the environment and good for our students' health. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Jayla Cataldi. I'm the secretary at Tally Thomas. At our school, we will be encouraging students to walk to school by offering incentives. ASB members will be at tables handing out prizes and snacks for students who will walk to school. To make sure that everyone is safe, staff and teachers are going to be at crosswalks helping students that walk to school across the street. Later that day, we will be having an amazing school-wide color run. For those of you who may not be familiar with the color run, it's where students will run the track and staff will douse them with powdered color. As you can see, all students will have fun on Walk to School Day.
Thank you for allowing Fortuna Middle School and Todd Thomas to speak to you tonight. We are looking forward to seeing you again in the spring when we celebrate Bike to School Day. Have a great evening, and thanks for all that you do for our community. Thank you.
Thank you all for coming and being brave enough to speak. We appreciate it. We have recognition of Fortuna Volunteer Fire Department by Chief of Police Bill Doberstein.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor and Council. Most of our community knows what it means when the fire sirens go off over town. And often they get to see the firefighters rushing from their homes, their places of business, or straight from their beds at night to answer a call for help. For us in the police department, we know our firefighters often respond to medical calls as the first on scene and rush into the face of danger whenever there is a fire, a major accident, or hazardous material spill. We often depend on them for the seemingly trivial but dangerous task of traffic control, helping lift a citizen who has fallen in their home and cannot get up, or render aid in so many ways, often without most citizens knowing. Our police department often receives more from them than they do from us. They are an important part of the annual disaster fair. They willingly offer us a place to hold regional and international training, and many times offer us a place to conduct advanced training. We sincerely appreciate the cooperation, the spirit of cooperation that exists between our two agencies. As a small gesture, we publicly acknowledge the many things that they do for the Fortuna Police Department and for our community. To that end, I present this plaque to the Fortuna firefighters on behalf of the Fortuna Police Department and let them and the citizens of Fortuna know that we appreciate our fire department and all that they do for us. So I'd like to call Chief Lon up.
I would just say on behalf of the Fortuna Volunteer Fire Department that there's 50 to 60 folks out there that work very hard to help the community out and serve the community, and so we certainly appreciate those folks, and we appreciate working with City Council and Police Department. It's a great relationship, and we plan that to continue. Thank you very much.
So at this time, we have a Chamber of Commerce presentation by Renee Lindsay, Chamber President. That's really not your title, though, is it? Chamber CEO?
President and CEO.
Okay.
Sorry, I have to move the mic up a little bit. Hi. Good evening, Honorable Mayor, members of the Fortuna City Council, and city staff. As Mayor Long mentioned, my name is Renee Lindsay, and I am the President and CEO of the Fortuna Chamber of Commerce. I am honored to be here representing the members of our chamber. On behalf of myself and the Chamber Board of Directors, I'd like to thank the city for its ongoing support of the chamber. The Fortuna Chamber's fundamental mission is to enhance economic growth through the promotion and support of our community, civic interests, and member businesses. Today, I would like to highlight some of the ways that the Fortuna Chamber accomplishes that mission. The first way is through promotion and publicity. Since taking on my role at the Chamber 10 months ago, I have dramatically increased our social media presence. I have been able to attract over 1,000 new followers between Instagram and Facebook. Each week we reach between 6,000 and 7,000 people through likes, shares, and impressions. Any member business that is highlighted on our Instagram or Facebook account has access to all of those potential customers. We love bragging about our members and encourage all member businesses to follow us and tag us in their posts so that we can share their news. Our online membership directory is publicly searchable, and each member has access to a members-only site that is fully customizable. We also keep a community calendar on our website to help promote local festivals, fundraisers, and other member events. Members are able to post their own events to this calendar at any time. We support new businesses by providing a ribbon cutting at their grand opening, as well as ribbon cuttings for our established businesses for any business milestone. We routinely make referrals to try and keep our dollars in Fortuna and support our member businesses. We mail out hundreds of visitor and relocation guides each year all across the country, and we assist tourists by urging them to stay and eat in Fortuna. A second way is through building relationships and networking. The Chamber hosts a weekly meeting at the Monday Club, which features a different guest speaker each week. Some of our speakers this year have been the Eureka Rescue Mission, the Breast and GYN Health Project, Fortuna Family Resource Center, Recology, the FBI, the Fortuna Volunteer Fire Department, Redwood Community Action Agency, and just today we heard from Zero Waste Humboldt. Upcoming speakers include Helping Humboldt, Eel River Recovery Project, Supervisor Estelle Fennell, Humboldt Senior Resource Center, the Ombudsman Program of the Area 1 Agency on the Aging, FBID, the Humboldt Literacy Project, and the Fortuna Senior Center. Our chamber meetings are always free and open to the public and are a great way to connect with members of the community and keep informed on local programs and events. The Chamber also coordinates monthly mixers hosted by a member business. Mixers give the host business a chance to promote themselves to potential customers. Attendees get a chance to win a door prize and create new business connections while socializing in a fun atmosphere. Our next mixer is at the Humboldt Connection on September 18th at 5:30, and we hope we will see you all there. The third way is tourism and marketing. The Fortuna Chamber Tourism and Marketing Committee receives Measure W funding specifically for promoting tourism in Fortuna. Earlier this year, the committee negotiated a new lease for the Fortuna welcome sign and River Lodge billboard on Highway 101 just south of Kenmar. The committee will be looking to redesign both the welcome sign and the billboard by the end of the year. In April, the Chamber released a new visitor's guide and map in the Insider magazine. The 16-page insert highlighted Fortuna's many events, tourist attractions, lodging, and dining options. For Auto Expo this year, we donated 500 copies to be distributed to visitors and participants to see all that Fortuna has to offer. Also in April, we had a 3D scan of the River Lodge film that will offer visitors to the River Lodge website a virtual tour of the conference center. In May, the committee secured a North Coast Otter for next summer's Otter Art Trail coordinated through HSU. With matching funds from the Humboldt Lodging Alliance and the River Lodge, we will be able to host an otter at the River Lodge permanently. The 4-month event around Humboldt and Del Norte County, slated for next June to September, is likely to bring in thousands of tourists to our area as they search for otters to win prizes. The River Lodge otter will serve as a permanent tribute to the wild river otters that make the Eel River home. Longtime local artist James Rose was selected by the committee to paint the otter. The committee is currently working with the North Coast Journal on a website redesign that will incorporate tourism and the Fortuna Chamber into one cohesive site. Instead of splitting visitors between Fortuna Chamber and Discover the Redwoods, visitors will soon be directed to one webpage where they can see what programs the Chamber offers, access the member business directory, see a calendar of events, request visitor information, and learn more about Fortuna's many offerings. The committee also continues to support the dog park by paying for water and financing improvements at the park. An expansion of the sidewalk was recently installed, allowing much easier wheelchair access. Finally, Measure W funds go towards our partnership with the Humboldt Del Norte Film Commission and pays for advertising in 101 Things, Menu of Menu, and among other publications, all with the focus on tourism and driving dollars to Fortuna. The fourth way is building tomorrow's leaders. The Fortuna Chamber has a robust ambassador program made up of local business owners and employees who are dedicated to promoting business in Fortuna. Our ambassadors are an extension of the chamber and volunteer their time to attend mixers, ribbon cuttings, and events. They also reach out when a new business opens, and they periodically visit our members with a simple "thank you for being a member" message. There we go. This year, our Leadership Fortuna program entered its 8th year. This 16-week program is designed to introduce participants to the major facets of the Fortuna and Humboldt County communities. It provides the opportunity for a behind-the-scenes understanding of the issues that impact our region's economic health and quality of life. Over the course of 16 weeks, participants meet county and civic leaders and local business owners, attend private tours, participate in a leadership skills building workshop, complete homework assignments, and work on a group project. As part of the program, they are required to attend the State of the City breakfast and the Chamber's annual awards dinner and auction. This year, our group toured Humboldt Redwood Company, Open Door Community Health Center, Gene Lucas Community Center, Redwood Memorial, Humboldt Distillery, the Dennis Went Memorial Trail, and High Grow Humboldt. The project they chose was creating a dedication plaque for the Dennis Went Memorial Trail. The plaque is currently in production thanks to the generosity of our sponsor, Alan Baird, and will be unveiled at the entrance to the trail as soon as it is completed. Leadership 9 is set to begin in January 2020, and I'm looking forward to our new batch of class members. The fifth way is creating collaborations with county and civic leaders. This year was the 9th State of the City breakfast with over 115 attendees, the largest crowd yet. The chamber-sponsored chili cook-off during Rodeo Week is always a big hit. This year we had 25 chili teams and a panel of judges taken from our local businesses. Our Snapchat filter was viewed over 2,000 times during the event, bringing publicity to the event and Fortuna. The chamber is currently working on collaborations with FBID, the College of the Redwoods, our local schools, and other organizations to bring new programs and benefits to our members and community. We'll be launching a new project in November that will be available to all residents and will share news and other information on the Friendly City. This year, we formed an art and culture committee and installed a public art piece at the chamber office made by Mad Metals. The art project was made possible through the generosity of the McLean Foundation. We thank the city for approving the project and the staff who installed the pedestal. Our second project was recently unveiled at the Monday Club and has received positive feedback and interest from local artists and residents. The art committee is focused on its mission to bring more public art to Fortuna as a way to build the economy while providing art that is accessible to everyone. On behalf of myself and the Fortuna Chamber Board of Directors, I would like to thank the city again for your continued support. And unless there are any questions, I thank you for your time.
Anyone have questions for Renee?
Thank you.
Thank you. Our second presentation is from Area 1 Agency on Aging, and we're talking about hoarding tonight by Maggie Kraft.
She did a good job. I don't have as many nice pictures. In fact, I didn't put any pictures in my presentation, and I'll talk about that, why, but I'm Maggie Kraft with Area 1 Agency on Aging, And I am grateful that I have this opportunity to come and talk to you a little bit about an issue that I think is pretty important and often not recognized as much as it needs to be in our community, and that is the issue of hoarding. So it is estimated that between 2 and 4% of the population has hoarding disorder. The symptoms appear to be almost 3 times as common in older adults, but hoarding symptoms can start as early as 11. Kids can start showing these symptoms. They tend to worsen over time, especially after a divorce, death of a spouse or family member, or another personal crisis, health problems, things like that. And so I kind of did some numbers, and I thought, well, shoot, if 2 to 4%, and I started looking at what the population of Fortuna is, because sometimes you say 2 and 4%, you don't know what that is, but in Fortuna, that would be somewhere between 250 and almost 500 people. And what that means is that many people, and it's a small number compared to bigger places, but that many people, chances are we all know somebody who is struggling with this disorder in our own communities. Most people don't understand hoarding or the toll it takes on people with a disorder and on those who love them. It's really critical that we educate ourselves so we can address the issue in helpful and meaningful ways. People who hoard have reasons for their behavior, and it's often tied to deeply held beliefs and emotions. They don't hoard because they're lazy. They don't hoard. It's a very complex issue as to why they do these things. People who hoard often are very smart and or educated. You could be one or the other. You could also be both. But people who hoard are smart people. They're involved in the community. Sometimes you wouldn't even know it. They're also quite creative, which is challenging because they can find a purpose for everything there is. They also may exhibit a lack of self-awareness about their condition and the real-world impact it has. So they may not see it, and they may not see it the same way other people do. They're more likely also to have co-occurring mental health conditions, the most common being major depression, which also can impact their ability to deal with the stuff they have and keep things moving. Or they may have some kind of social or generalized anxiety disorder. 20% of people who hoard also have obsessive compulsive disorder. We call that OCD. But treatments used to address OCD are not the same necessarily to treatments for hoarding. And for a long time, people thought hoarding was just another symptom of OCD, but it's very, very different. And a lot of people just don't understand it. We have the TV hoarders on the show on TV, and I'm not going to say it glamorizes it. It certainly doesn't, but it shows you the world. But it's and I have to say that I have seen situations locally similar to some of those situations. We have nobody here who can address that. The San Francisco Task Force on Compulsive Hoarding in 2009, they did a report where they did a bunch of things, but they did a report where they captured actual costs that are incurred by some providers, service providers, and some landlords due to compulsive hoarding and cluttering behaviors in that area. And with just those people they looked at, it costs over $1 million a year to some property owners and some service providers. And even though that's 10 years old, there's no reason to believe that we aren't still seeing these costs there because they haven't cured the issue. They haven't addressed it perfectly. The study was unable to estimate the cost to individuals and to all providers and landlords, but a conservative estimate would put the cost of compulsive hoarding in San Francisco at $6.43 million a year. That was 10 years ago. They're a lot bigger place than we are, but if you extrapolate downward to size and cost, we have a problem here, and it costs communities. It's not just an issue that the person who hoards faces. It costs everybody. Now I'm going to try this here. Was there a button I'm supposed to push? There we go. Oh, is that the one I want? Why not? They're all up there. So I wanted to tell you a little bit about what we've done to date, and this is just kind of giving you an overview. This past March, we got a grant from the Humboldt County Department of Health and Human Services and through the Mental Health Services Act, and we hosted a day-long conference and brought in experts on dispelling stigma about hoarding disorder. We had over 100 people there. And it was all people, service providers, family members, people with hoarding issues, mental health, government employees, clinicians. And the grant also helped us start support groups. So they helped us start them, one for people who hoard and one for their friends and family, and we're continuing to host these groups. And the groups, the people come to the groups, we give them a book. This is a book that we give people who have the disorder. It's a workbook. The group right now is working through this together, and they're supporting each other, and this is the one we give to families. And that was possible through the grant until supplies run out. So that's a nice thing we can do. We do, though, they meet twice a month, each of them. And the people who are coming really are identifying ways that they need to, their triggers and how they can move through things. You know, our society tells us we should have a lot of stuff. I mean, we're told that. And some of us do, and if you have a big enough house, you may not notice how much stuff you have. But one of the things that happens sometimes with older people as they start downsizing, they may get in a situation where they've had to move into a smaller setting and they have too much stuff. Or they may get in a situation where they've just lived in a house for so long and they can't move things out because of illness or depression or a lot of different things. There are reasons, we all have reasons that we might end up looking like we might have a hoarding disorder. We probably don't. This is something beyond just, you know, a pile of things sitting there that you're going to move out the next week. This is a serious, it goes beyond that. And I don't call people hoarders because I really believe that you're a person first, and we're all people with problems. And so people who hoard are people with the problem of hoarding. They're not hoarders. That's, you know, that just, it's more respectful, I think. So the other thing the grant had us do is start a task force. The task force has met twice, and we've had some people from the county employees and also City of Eureka employees come and talk about some of the challenge they face when they're dealing with hoarding situations in our community. It's a public safety issue. It threatens the health and safety of those living in or near the home. It can attract rodents and other pests, can cause health problems with molds and dusts. It could be structural damage to the home and increased danger in the event of a fire, even up to including death. The cost to local government and private landowners and the person who hoards is pretty tremendous. And even those people who are ready to clean their situations up cannot afford to do so. Sometimes the entire home has to be gutted. And if the home can be saved, if the person's ready, the cost of dumpsters and bringing in a professional team that is trained to deal with that kind of stuff, once it becomes fairly dangerous, is pretty beyond the ability of most people. So the task force meets. Our next meeting is on October 16th. I think it's really time that we come together with, to address the issue in a systematic and coordinated way. Survey of literature, academic literature, they looked at all the different ways you could best address this issue. And they said that the best community response is a collaborative, multidisciplinary hoarding task force that includes mental health support for people who hoard. So this is where we are now. We've agreed to sponsor this and support this, but an effective task force needs to have some elements to it, and it's about taking in referrals, doing consultation, bringing experts together, doing home visits, developing a plan of action with the person who has a hoarding issue, create a plan using primarily harm reduction. So you don't go in and say you have to get rid of all this. You go in and say we need to help you live here safely. These are some bottom lines we need to do, and we want to support you in that process. The first step, though, is education. If people don't realize that this is an issue in their own communities and how to address it compassionately and safely, then nothing will happen. So we need to first learn how to do that and avoid the techniques that people want to use that don't help. The first thing the book for families does is tell people it doesn't help if you go clean the hoard out when your mom's shopping. That's a bad thing to do. That going in and touching other people's stuff is really not okay. And so how do you address it? And that's what families struggle to do. It impacts their relationships with the person who is hoarding. It becomes all they talk about, and it's really, really traumatic. I talked about that. So I really encourage you to join with other jurisdictions at the task force level so we can address this problem. I said when the next meeting that happens, and we hope you have staff who will be interested in coming and learning more and looking at the issue in your community. The people who are living in these situations, many of them don't want to. They just can't get out of it without help. It's a very difficult. They need therapeutic intervention. They need a lot of support, and it's hard. And I'm thinking Jeremy probably has. If you sell houses, you've seen some of these things that you go in and you see what needs to happen. So, I just invite you to encourage your staff. I know everyone's busy, but if somebody can come to the task force, that'd be awesome. While I'm here, I want to tell you about some other nifty things that are happening. We have every 4 years we do a big survey, senior survey, concern survey, and we will be having hard copies available at our office throughout the community, and people will also be able to get online for that. It will start October 1st, so you'll be seeing that around the community, and really encourage people to fill it out. We're asking people questions about what our communities need to do better to support seniors. And then our senior information guide will be coming out in January. That gets updated every 2 years. 12,000 copies of this go out all over the community, and it's underwritten, so businesses underwrite the cost of that. The volunteer driver program, I wanted to just check in on that because that program started because of the need of people living in the Eel River Valley to get to doctor's appointments in Eureka. And we've continued this program. That is still a continuing need. We serve people from Rio de Scotia all the way up to Trinidad, out to Blue Lake. We're looking at maybe in Hydesville, we're looking at maybe going out to Willow Creek if we get the continued funding. But we always still need drivers in the Eel River Valley. It really comes back to that original need of starting this program. We still need drivers. The neat thing about the program is that when you sign up to be a volunteer driver, you're not signing your life away. You get to pick when you can. You look at the rides, you look how long they're going to take, and you sign up. And so if you're gone for a few weeks, you don't sign up. And if you have a few hours, you sign up. So I just encourage your friends, family, people who are sitting on the couch watching Jeopardy when they should be out and about. If that's you, I apologize. Take it back. You can't do that. You're here. And then the other thing we're working on project is home share, North Coast home share, trying to find people who have homes they're living in that are too big for them. They don't want to move out, but they might need a little extra help. And if they have a room they can rent to somebody who needs housing, then we have a great situation. We could have somebody in their 70s and 80s rent a room to somebody in their 60s, and they just kind of keep an eye on each other and support each other. Rent rooms to students, rent rooms to anybody. But we're really, and I guess this in an ironic way ties to the issue of hoarding, because if you have too much stuff in your home, you can't do this. But what a nice thing for people who have homes and space to open your home up, make a little extra money, have a little other interactions with people. A lot of seniors are living alone in large homes that they raise their kids in, and they're not going to move. Especially, I find a lot of people in Fortuna, they're planted. Where are they going to move to? So we really want to get this program going so we can help folks with that. So I wanted to just update you on that since I was going to be here anyway. And I brought copies of the San Francisco study. I have a couple that I can leave with you for the staff. And if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Otherwise, thank you for your time. I really appreciate it.
Any questions for Maggie?
I have a question.
Sure.
Is there an age limitation on your volunteer drivers?
Are you talking about people who receive the rides?
No, who would give
Drive. Unfortunately, insurance being what it is, I think they want people over 25, just because of the way it's, and we do require our drivers have a good insurance. We have insurance, but they have to have insurance. So a lot of younger people won't have that level of insurance. But otherwise, I think it's 25 because our insurance company doesn't want us to have people driving under 25, which I think is ageist, but.
And part of that vetting is the vehicle inspection as well?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, they have to, we look at their DMV, we do a background check, we look at the vehicle, make sure it's safe, make sure the insurance is there. Yeah, make sure a person would want to sit in it, can get in it and out of it again. So yeah.
Thank you for the information about room share. I had no idea that that was even an option.
Yeah, we're trying to get it started. The problem we have is that we know there's tons of people out there who want a room. We need to get the homes first. So we don't want to go out and say, hey, come rent a room, because until we have people come forward and say, I have a room, you know, we're just going to make people even more frustrated. We already have so many people looking for housing, and you hand them it's like a hunting license. Here's a list of housing. It's not a guarantee they'll find anything. And it's very frustrating for older folks and everyone else too. So,
All right, any other questions? All right, thank you, Maggie.
thank you.
Well, since we do not have a recipient for the Constitution Week proclamation, we'll just skip that and move on to oral comments from the public. Does anyone here have any comments on anything that is not on the agenda tonight? You have 3 minutes to address the council.
Council, Mayor, I'm Sean Swanson from River Life Foundation, P.O. Box 384, Fortuna, California. I just want to thank you guys for passing the money to help River Life work with the city a lot more to be able to help in doing some cleanups around town. We've already done, we've stepped it up to do 1 cleanup a month, and now we're doing sometimes 2 and 3 a month to help just to lessen the impact of the negative activity. So I just wanted to come. I haven't been here in a while. Also, I see that the city has also began to tackle what we kind of started to thin out at the bottom of the boulevard at the south end of Fortuna. So I congratulate you guys on getting in there and tackling some more of that. It was quite a feat for us to tackle, and so we're continuing our efforts. Also, I'm very excited to say that my honey's client Nelson, we were able to take him on his power chair on the Dennis Wendt Memorial Trail. So that was excellent to see that we could do that. Yes, we have more plans to do some different stuff with that. Right now we're kind of on hold with the state of California. They want us to do some things to make them happy, and then we will be continuing our efforts to head downstream once we get those permits in place. As far as the first phase is, they're pleased with what we've done. They're allowing us to cut the brush and continue maintaining and patrolling, and I can honestly say that there's no established encampments in that area. It's too bad the fire department isn't here tonight, because I would like to hear their input on how that area has helped, at least I feel, has lessened the fires in those areas. So it's just really exciting to see that it's begun to change. No, it's not perfect throughout town, but if you look at the surrounding towns, we're not that bad. I was just up in Eureka today, and yeah, it's a hard fight. And you know, I was just across from 1660 Newburgh Road, and by the attention of some police officers, and there was it's a large lot that's deeply wooded, and we've had problems in the past there, and I probably got, I don't know, I would say at least 40 to 50 syringes out of that area. So, you know, we're still dealing with the needle factor. We're somewhere around the range of 3,000 needles that we've cleaned up, but I'm not seeing the 6,000 syringes that we've been seeing in the camps. So there has been some help. Like I said, it's gotten better, but it's not perfect, and we're still continuing our efforts. Also, I wanted to invite you guys. We have started a Friday morning walk at 10 a.m. We meet behind Ready Rents, and we walk to Palmer and back. It's 1.5 miles round trip, and it's nice, smooth walking. The gravel's fairly soft still. We have not compacted it in any way, and we didn't plan to compact it because we wanted to lessen the impacts of the environment in that area. But it's open to the community. Bring your dog, bring your kids, bring your grandkids. It's just a great morning to walk. Mike's come out, brought his dog, and So I just invite you guys, and we'll see y'all at Apple Harvest. Thank you.
Thank you, Sean. Anyone else? Seeing none, we'll close public comment and move on to our consent calendar. We have 10 items tonight, including city council minutes on our department monthly reports for admin, community development, finance, parks and rec, police, public works, River Lodge, our report of disbursements, and then 2 appointments to the FBID Board of Directors. Does anyone wish to pull anything? Seeing none?
Motion to approve the consent calendar.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the consent calendar. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Our one item of business tonight is a public hearing to consider amending the general planned land use designation from public to commercial and amend the Fortuna zoning map from public facility to commercial thoroughfare, ordinance 2019-738, I believe.
So I'll be presenting the staff report on this item. Liz Shorey, our Deputy Director, Community Development, is on vacation. And as you said, this is the second reading of this ordinance. The staff recommendation is to receive the staff report and accept public comments for amendments of a general plan land use designation from public facility to commercial and the Fortuna zoning map from public facility to commercial thoroughfare, and by adopting ordinance 2019-738. This is the second reading for the described amendment. There have been no changes since the first reading that was held on September 3rd, 2019, and staff has not received any new information or comments. The following information was presented to the council on September 3rd. I'll just reiterate that briefly, but the proposed land use actions consist of a general plan, land use map, and zoning map amendment of approximately 85,000 square foot parcel to allow for the use to revert from public facility to historical commercial use. The city-owned parcel is located in the southwest corner of 12th and I Streets, and the site is developed with a 12,000 square foot commercial building that was previously used as an auto dealership and repair shop. After the dealership closed, the city purchased a site for development of a new police station. That plan was subsequently dropped by the city. Surrounding land uses consist of commercial uses to the south, residential northwest, and a public high school to the east. The 2 actions are required. The first, a general plan land use map amendment from public facility to commercial, from public to commercial, and the zoning map amendment from public facility to commercial thoroughfare. The site is suitable for commercial land use and the zoning for a number of reasons. The findings are included in Exhibit 1 and include the parcels located on 12th Street, a commercial street that is designated in the general plan as a minor arterial roadway, which is appropriate for commercial traffic. The parcel is located at an intersection, has double street frontage, providing site visibility and adequate to access and accommodate commercial activity. The site is suitable for commercial use as it was developed with commercial building and on-site parking, and the site's conformance with the general plan's commercial description. So the fiscal impact, the general plan and zoning amendments will not result in any cost to the city. The actions will allow the city's sale of the parcel, resulting in a significant addition to the general fund. However, for this item, the city is only acting in its regulatory capacity and not as a landlord or a property owner. Environmental, the site was zoned commercial in the Fortuna General Plan 2010 to 2030 and analyzed in the General Plan Program Environmental Impact Report with the commercial designation. So under California Environmental Quality Act, CEQA, a project does not need to be reanalyzed if it has already been considered in a previous environmental document. The CEQA review is included also in Exhibit 1 attached to the staff report. So with that, we have no other presentation, and I'd be happy to answer questions if the council has any.
Any questions for Merritt?
No.
Would the public like to comment on this item? Seeing none, we will close public comment.
Madam Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to hold a second reading and approve ordinance 2019-738 and read it by title only.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Sienna?
Ordinance 2019-738, an ordinance amending the Fortuna General Plan map designation of 280 12th Street, APN 040-193-005 from public to commercial and amending the Fortuna zoning map from public facility to commercial thoroughfare. Councilmember Glauser?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Johnson?
Yes.
Councilmember Stanfield?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Trent?
Yes. Mayor Long?
Yes. Thank you. City managers report.
Okay, first, just a review of our upcoming meeting dates. The next regular city council meeting is on Monday, October 7th. The next planning commission meeting is on Tuesday, September 24th. And our next Measure E committee meeting, oversight committee meeting is tomorrow on Tuesday, September 17th. The next Roner Community Recreation and Park District meeting is on October 2nd. I just have a few items in my verbal report tonight. One of them is I'm continue to follow and stay on top of the close of escrow for the city's property at 280 12th Street, and we expect that to close within 20 to 30 days from today in the approval of the resolution. The Roner Community Recreation District had its consultant present the pool feasibility study to the public last Tuesday evening. This document will serve as a basis of design for future pool design efforts and will provide the cost of the district for a future plan of service report. Work continues on Fortuna Boulevard for the Hillside Creek project. The work in the roadway is nearly complete. They just switched the traffic over one more time. They have some more concrete flat work on the southbound side and then paving on the southbound side, and then we will be able to open the boulevard back up without any traffic control, and the work will continue upstream. So we're very anxious to get to that point. Half the street has already been paved, and I'm sure that the businesses in that area and the residents will be happy to see that completed. But the contractor is doing a good job. They're, you know, and we should have that open back up soon. Let's see. So construction on the 12th Street undergrounding project by PG&E is also proceeding. The contract is nearly complete with the conduit under the main portion of the street, and are now working on the conduits for services. They expect to be able to complete that work by the end of this month and then start installation of the conductors. The 12th Street Fish Passage, the channel is open to natural stream flow, and the contractor is finalizing work at the top of the bank. And then just one other thing, that the council may have seen some of the press releases and reports of some nuisance abatement activity that the city had on Center Star Way. I think the presentation from the Area 1 Agency on Aging was timeless. I think this is one of those hoarding situations. So it's definitely something that the city has, and through all of our nuisance abatements, I think we're seeing this in more than just one location. So I think it'll be important for staff to attend that task force meeting and see what resources are available that we can use to help our residents with that problem. And that's all that I have.
Any questions for Merritt? Just remember when you're planning the October 21st meeting that 4 of us are going to conference.
So does that mean that that might not be a good council meeting date? Maybe we should look at cancellation for the
I don't think we need to cancel. I'm just saying, don't give us 500 pages to read.
Hey, I could talk as 5 personalities and just cover it right up there. Just go from mic to mic to mic to mic to mic.
Now, if that wasn't enough motivation, I don't know what is.
The dates that the council will be at that League of California Cities annual meeting then?
We leave on Tuesday, the 16th, and we'll be gone, and we'll come back Friday evening.
18th.
So,
Okay,
yeah.
see what we can do.
And I'm staying down longer, so I don't get home till Saturday night. Just FYI, in case you care.
We'll make sure to have a full meeting agenda for you when you return.
Right on.
600 pages of reading. Future agenda items, anyone?
Well, you know what, one thing, just as a maybe a report to council, I read some information on the FERC relicensing of the Potter Valley project and Scott Greason's presentation to the Eel River and Russian project. And if anybody has anything to update us on what's happening there, it's literally at our front door here, so it'd be nice to see where things are going there.
Okay, and I'll check back with the county and see if they'd be willing at some point to come back and give us another presentation. We've been staying up on those articles, but it doesn't seem like there's time for input right now, and that mostly it's going through the committee.
Yeah, as we enter into fall and winter, maybe they'll have some time.
Back to questions for Merritt. One of the citizens asked me about we approved to close, to ask Caltrans to close the 12th Street exit for apple harvest.
Yes.
Also was curious to know if there was a conversation going on with the contractor for PG&E regarding those days.
So my understanding from talking with our Public Works Department, and they've been coordinating with PG&E's contractor, is that they wouldn't be working the days of apple harvest. We were hoping that we'd get some of the paving done and the sidewalk work done, but it doesn't look like that's gonna happen as of apple harvest, but I don't believe that they will be working the days of the festival.
Okay, thanks.
All right, anything else for future agendas? Seeing none, we will move on to council reports. Dean?
Thanks, Madam Mayor. Nothing to report for Redwood Coast Energy Authority. A couple of weeks ago, through town, over a couple of days, I saw the speed control counters. So I'm under the assumption that we have done it, and in the past, we've had the individual or the company come forward to actually explain the results. So if that has been done, can that be put on the agenda at some point in time soon, so that we, if we have to change a speed, perhaps on Ross Hill Road or wherever, that we would actually be aware of that?
Yeah, and so that was a city effort. We are, as we're required to do, collect those traffic counts, and so we still have not yet processed the data, but we'll be sure if there's any changes to make sure to bring that back to council to let you know what we find.
Okay, thank you. God bless America. God bless all of our troops. And for those folks that are bored to death without all the other channels and they choose us, thank you very much for watching us.
Mike?
Well, I've been out of town on some family business, but back ready for work. And a couple things. We have a HCOG meeting this week. Some of the items on there are funding for the safety corridor and report on last chance grade and things such as that. Another item that's come up, I ran into somebody with Rotary, and on September the 28th, 2 weeks roughly from today, Rotary's doing a major project at the Gene Lucas Community Center with some landscaping and a redwood arbor, and it's a community-oriented happening. And if you come out and help plant some trees and shrubs, assemble the arbor, and it will benefit the community at large, but specifically the Gene Lucas Community Center. Perhaps as a council group, we can participate in that and show support for that. Best of all, there's a barbecue lunch provided for all the volunteers.
When is that, Mike?
That is Saturday, September 28th.
What time?
8 a.m. to 1 p.m. And contact Pete Fennell if you'd like to volunteer or have any questions, 496-6259. And with that, I'll pass it over to Jeremy.
So that Rotary project is part of that presentation we saw for the 22 trees representing, I believe, veterans regarding suicide. So that's pretty neat that Rotary picked up that project to beautify the Gene Lucas Center. Thanks for asking for us to participate. I think that's a great idea. Hope I'm in town. Over the last couple of weeks, I had a chance to go to a badge pinning ceremony with Fortuna Volunteer Fire Department. I thought it was a very interesting and humbling ceremony in that it's amazing to see some people behind the scenes that don't get a lot of public recognition really giving and giving and giving to this community through those training efforts and through going through the processes of the weeks and weeks and weeks of training, if not months. I'm not really even sure because I've never done it myself, but just really proud of 13 new cadets that came in and got pinned by one of their loved ones. It was a pretty moving moment on those things. And then I believe there were another 7 promotions within the departments, different companies. So really neat to see people that we've known for a long time being part of that fire department, continuing to give, and the new people stepping up. It was pretty cool. Also attended the pool meeting. I saw Mayor Pro Tem Trent there as well. One comment that I made on Facebook at the end of the meeting was that I saw a plethora of seniors and only one family in the entire crowd. And I got lots of feedback through Facebook on that, saying that families have lots of activities going on in the evenings and would love to have attended, didn't really remember or hear about it necessarily. One suggested maybe offering childcare for increased participation. And I don't think it's a bad idea. I think it's actually a really smart idea that if families want to get the information and they're otherwise inundated with looking after kids, or if it's a financial burden to have their kids watched, why not offer something like that to get more public input? I don't know if that's a liability or not, but it's a neat suggestion I thought was worth mentioning. I enjoyed the presentation from the presenter, but it showed very evidently that there's going to be a deficit regardless of all their revenue activities. So I'll be curious to see how the committee plans to overcome that deficit in expenditures for the operation of a pool. The people that were there, overwhelmingly were in support of a public facility. Aquatic facility. They are really leaning towards Model B of the three choices that were offered, although there were a few that saying, to go from 6 lanes to 8 lanes is only about a $20,000 increase in operating expenses, so why not get the biggest bang for our buck, not realizing that, they're actually asking to spend about another $4 million in construction. So, and maybe that's an exaggerated number, and I apologize if I miscute or misrepresented. I don't intend to do that intentionally. So I'm interested to see if they're going to continue to have public meetings, interested to see their findings moving forward and bringing a presentation to the council, hopefully soon. My FBID meeting has been moved from tomorrow to the 26th of this month. It's a Thursday instead of a Tuesday, so if there's anybody in the public that would like to attend, or any business owners that would like to attend the meeting, it's Thursday at 2 p.m. at the Monday Club, the 26th. We approved 2 board members that are carryovers from previous years of service, but the city is still in need of one more additional candidate to fill a vacant seat on the FBID board. So if you have any interest, please contact the city or our fabulous mayor. Park and Recs is having their last movies in the park this Friday on the 20th. And please note the time change. Our first movie was at 9 p.m. because of the daylight savings. The second movie caught people a little bit off guard, some of them because it was at 8:30 because the sun goes down earlier, and now this one's at 8 p.m. So please mark that in your calendars if you have intentions to go. The movie that's playing is Ferdinand. It's rated PG. We'll be setting up in the Roner Park Pavilion Meadow or Field where we have in the last two times. This will be the last movie of this season, but I think that the feedback we're getting from the citizens is it's a really appreciated benefit to our community, and it's a free night of entertainment for young families. So please plan to continue or to participate there. And then the last thing, it was more of a fun thing, but I attended the Fortuna High School Sports Hall of Fame dinner and auction last Saturday, and just because it's been in our chambers here recently, I'd like to acknowledge that one of the inductees was Laz Lescu, which was pretty cool, and then one of my classmates, actually, Vicky Fleschner, so it was a neat night, so that's all I have.
Thanks. Tammy.
Okay, Jeremy reported most of the stuff on the swimming pool, but I did want to add a few things to that. There is a good possibility, there's some grant possibilities to fund the pool, but they have to come up with a way to sustain it, which is a large amount. The revenue doesn't come close to covering the expenses. So that's going to be their next step in studying on that. And it was my understanding that we may be getting a presentation on the findings. I don't know for sure on that, but then it will be online to where people can look up and see what the findings from all the survey was. And that's all I have to report.
All right, thanks. So I attended a REDEC meeting last week, a special meeting to approve several loans. So REDEC is continuing to help local businesses until they become bankable. I am the alternate on LAFCO, and Paul Fatino cannot make it Wednesday, so I'll be attending that meeting. The biggest thing on there is water for the park in Garberville, and they also want to raise fees, of course. Reminder that there is a chamber mixer on the Wednesday at 101 Gullickson Drive, Humboldt Connection. Oktoberfest is also on the 28th at 11 a.m., so that's the same time as the planting for the Gene Lucas Community Center. And I also attended the sports auction dinner, and it was pretty cool to see all those people. And part of you feels a little sad because we've already lost Mr. Lescue, and we do all these things after people are gone, and that's kind of a bummer. But it was pretty neat to see that we're not the only ones talking about the commitment that he made to Fortuna. So we have a closed items session, or closed session, one item on the closed session, which is public employee performance evaluation pursuant to section 54957 of the government code, and that is going to be for the city manager. So if anyone from the public has any comments on that, now is the time. Seeing none, we will close public comment. And we need a
Motion to move to closed session?
Second.
motion and a second to adjourn to closed session. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Jeremy, look at the time.